What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So can Democrats win in North Carolina? And so you have Roy Cooper, two-time governor, running for Senate. Can he win? What are the polls showing us? That's what we're going to focus on today. But before we get started, I want to tell you a little bit about me. I have a political science degree. I've worked in political campaigns for over 15 years. And in this video, we're going to focus on real data, real trends, and what that tells us about the 2026 midterms. If that sounds like something interesting to you, please consider liking the video, sharing the video, and subscribing to the channel. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Here we go. And one more thing that I didn't mention from the beginning, we will look at an AI model. So I will put all this information into an AI model and they'll give us a prediction of who's going to win in 2026. Okay, the first thing I want to look at is the polling. Okay, so looking at the polling, and we're getting this information from Harper Polling. This is the latest poll coming out of North Carolina. One of the problems when we're looking at Senate races, especially when it's this far out, you don't have that many polls being conducted. So as we get closer to the election, we're going to see more polling. But right now, this is the latest polling, 600 likely voters. Now, 600 likely voters, that's a good sample size because it's likely voters. A lot of the polling that we've been seeing is registered voters. And in my opinion, when it comes to registered voters, that doesn't give us a lot of information. Registered voters just means that you registered to vote. You might not have voted in the last 10, 15 years, but you're registered to vote. That's all that's telling us. Likely voters goes a little bit further. That means that you voted in recent elections. And so that means that you're engaged, you're out there, you're actually participating. So when it comes to likely voters, when we see that, that means, to me, that means that this poll is a little, you can believe it a little bit more. Okay, looking at the next poll, North Carolina Senate vote intention. So Cooper and Whatley. So we're looking at that, same sample size and all of that. Undecided, 10%. Other, 4%. Whatley, 38.6%. Roy Cooper, 47.3%. So Roy Cooper has an advantage here, almost 9%. And so looking at the latest polling, Roy Cooper has the advantage. And remember, Tillis, who's a Republican, he is retiring. And so this seat is an open seat. Okay, party identification of likely voters. Okay, so we have independents, 26.7, Republicans, 33.2, Democrats, 33.8. And so it just gives you an idea of party affiliation when it comes to this poll. Okay, and this is a big one here. Confidence in the U.S. economy. This is what is going to hurt Republicans if they can't change this, change the narrative. No opinion or unsure, 9.7%. Confident about the economy, 32%. Not confident about the economy, 58.3%. The vast majority of the people who were polled here are not confident about the economy. That is a huge problem for Republicans. And if they can't fix this, they are going to lose. And we're going to see a lot of Republicans losing as a result of this. Okay, the last one here, direction of the country. Unsure, 6.3%. Right direction, 38.3%. Wrong track, 55.4%. So both with the economy and the direction of the country, you see the vast majority of people that were polled here, they're not happy. They're not happy with the economy. They're not happy with where we're going, the direction of the country. And so if they're not happy with the direction of the country, what does that mean? That means that they're either not going to show up to vote or they're going to vote against the people who are currently in power. Okay, the people who, so the incumbents that are running, or if it's an open seat, in this situation in North Carolina, it's an open seat, but they have an opportunity to vote for a Democrat over a Republican. The Republicans right now are controlling the Senate, controlling the House, and controlling the White House. If they have an opportunity, they'll probably vote for the Democrat because they want to change the direction. Okay, so now we're going to plug all this into this AI model that we created to see. We'll give a prediction of who we think will win, and it's going to be win probability again. So that's that coin flip. And so basically what we're saying is out of 100 coin flips, how many times can Roy Cooper win over the generic Republican or, Whatley or what have you? So that's what we're going to look at here. Okay, so here's the information coming from the AI model. Okay, and looking at this, and I'll go over it really quickly, we have polling at 35%. So this is the weight, okay? State partisanship, 25%. Candidates experience, 15%. Money and organization, 15%. National environment, 10%. Okay, so let's take a look at each one of these. So polling. So we have limited polling. We talked about that already. The model uses historical North Carolina statewide performances. And so with polling data, we don't have that much. And so we had to go with the latest polling. The latest polling is favoring Roy Cooper. Okay, so you have 35% there in that calculation. State partisanship, 25%. North Carolina is a true swing state, typically decided within 1 to 3 points. Okay, so it's a very, very close, it goes back and forth basically. Model baseline approximately even, but they have Republican +1. So they're looking at Republicans have a little bit of an advantage when it comes to state partisanship. Candidate experience, okay, and this can be, since you don't have an incumbent, we have candidate experience here. Roy Cooper, 2-term governor with multiple statewide victories. This is very, very important because this is a statewide race. Receives full statewide experience, credit in lieu of incumbency. So you still, when you're looking at, he's not the incumbent for a senator, but because he's won two governor's races, he has that incumbency. He should get that incumbency because he has the experience. He's been there before. Okay, so looking at the generic Republican baseline experience assumption pending nominee. Okay, so looking at money and organization, this is another thing. So if you have a person who's run for office before, they already have those lines set up. They've already proven that they can raise money, and that's very, very important. So this would go to Roy Cooper as well. National environment, 10%. So Real Clear Politics right now, we're looking at plus 3.7, and that 3.7 will probably go up because we saw some latest polling coming out. And once it goes up, we'll come back and do another video. But right now it's at 3.7%, and that's for Democrats. Okay, Democrats have the advantage there. And so when we talk about the national environment right now, Democrats have an advantage because Republicans are struggling with the message. Okay, we're looking at a lot of different things going on, and Republicans don't have real answers. Talking about health care, we know that the premiums could go up for some people. There's no answer to that. They don't have another plan. When it comes to inflation, inflation is still high. It's not under control. That's another issue. When it comes to our economy overall, we don't know what's going on. The economy is shaky. You have unemployment at 4.6% right now. And so because of these things, Republicans are playing defense, and Democrats, they're moving forward. They're playing offense. And so if we continue to see this into 2026, Democrats are going to continue having that tailwind. They're going to continue having the advantage. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's take a look at the win probability. Now remember, when we're talking about win probability means out of 100 coin flips, how many times would Roy Cooper win? He would win 55 times. A generic Republican would win 45 times. Now, this number might look, and you might say, well, does that mean that's 10 points? So Roy Cooper would win by 10 points? No, this is win probability. And now you might look at this and say, well, this is a huge margin. No, it's not. This is actually pretty close. This is close to a toss-up right now. But Roy Cooper does have the advantage. And he has the advantage because of all the different categories that we went through, showing that Roy Cooper, when it comes to incumbency, Roy Cooper has the experience. When it comes to a lot of these different things, the polling, all of that out there right now, the environment is benefiting Democrats right now. Now, let me just show you. I want to pull up the map here. And I like to do this at the end just to show you what's at stake and why this is important for Democrats. Actually, this is a must-win for Democrats. Democrats have to win in North Carolina. If they can't win in North Carolina, they have no chance of taking back control of the Senate. That's why this is very important. So if we're looking at the map right now, we have toss-ups. We have Georgia, we have North Carolina, Michigan, and Maine. Okay, these are the same 4 toss-ups. This is based on the latest polling. So if we're looking at this, we have Democrats and independents at 45, Republicans at 51. So Republicans have the advantage. They have control of the Senate. Okay, so let's run through some scenarios here. Let's say Republicans win in North Carolina. If they win in North Carolina, it's going to be impossible for Democrats to win. It's already hard for Democrats to take back control of the Senate, just looking at the map. But if Republicans are able to pull it out in North Carolina, let's say Democrats win in Michigan, they win in Maine, they win in Georgia. Now Democrats are at 48, Republicans are at 52. Republicans, they still have control of the Senate. And even if Democrats were to say, okay, let's say Sherrod Brown wins in Ohio. Okay, Democrats at 49, Republicans at 51. Republicans would still have control of the Senate. Let's say Texas goes to a Democrat. Let's say Crockett wins or Tallarico wins in Texas. Guess what? Republicans still have control of the Senate because of 50-50. Tiebreaker goes to the vice president, and so Republicans would still have control. And that's why North Carolina is very important, because if Democrats can win in North Carolina, that gives them more ways to win. Because if they win in North Carolina, now they would have 51, Republicans would have 49. That's if they won in Texas. Now, let's say they don't win in Texas. Now we have Democrats at 50, Republicans at 50. Democrats need to win one more state. Could they win South Carolina? It's possible. Looking at the latest polling coming out of South Carolina, Lindsey Graham is in trouble. We're looking at Iowa. Joni Ernst, she's not running. She's retiring. So that's an open seat. We don't know how that's going to play out. Looking at Nebraska, you have an independent that's doing really well there. If that independent caucuses with the Democrats, that would benefit Democrats. So Democrats would have this opportunity. But what they need to do is they need to win North Carolina and knock off maybe an Ohio, and then win one of these other states. And so the bottom line is Democrats need to win in North Carolina. If they win in North Carolina and they're able to pull off Ohio, they have more options. They have more options to take back control of the Senate. And so I want to know what you guys think. So let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.